Hey everybody, this is Will, your host of the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 Raffle, and we are here to represent everything that is kosher with SHIB, SHIB. If you haven't heard, we're going to get into tonight's conversation, the raffle update. So your raffle update is brought to you by SHIB. So the raffle update is we have had 3 people watch our channel, 3 and 9 page reviews. Obviously, we didn't sell any tickets during that period of time, so therefore we will be hosting the 50/50 raffle tomorrow, roughly around the same time period, around 5:30 till 6 o'clock. Right now it's 7:13. We're late coming in. We know we're late. That's just the way it is. But because we don't have any ticket sales, we're okay. We are okay to go ahead with this worldwide scheduling event for tonight's broadcast. The only army. Hold on 2 seconds now. So, without further ado, we'll get into a few little things. What do we want to talk about tonight? We want to talk about scenarios. We want to talk about scenarios. Want to run down the scenarios? Let's see if we can do that. I'm gonna run down the scenarios for you. Get on here. Now I'm moving everything over to a different platform. What's SHIB Raffle all about? SHIB Raffle is about helping every single person on the planet become extremely wealthy through the reduction of SHIB circulating supply and driving in the value where everybody tries to pile in all at once because nobody wants to miss out on something. Well, they haven't been piling in. I'm not sure why, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with not noticing where everybody's hiding at from the SHIB network. Now, even the Chat GPT and DeepSeek and a couple AI programs say that majority of the people are hiding in the Discord. Hey, Noel Wisely, massive love shout to you, and massive love shout to the entire world that's watching. Okay, we're going to get into the scenarios of what to look for. Who can participate? How many scenarios? Okay, how many scenarios? It's on the first page. Okay, first scenario. Worldwide adoption. Companies, banks, fundraisers, not fundraisers, but fund managers, bankers, any organization on the planet that wants to make massive sums of money. What would they have to do first, everybody? What would they have to do first? They would have to buy an enormous amount of SHIB. First thing I'd do is buy an enormous amount of SHIB. So how much is an enormous amount of SHIB for a company to buy that's listed publicly and privately? You would probably want close to 1 trillion SHIB. Jason Cox, hello. Noel Wisely. So if you haven't heard of SHIB before, you're in the right place. You want to make money? You're in the right place. We do recommend that you only invest a lottery ticket's worth into SHIB. And right now, it's going to cost you around $14.55 if you bought right now. Now, what do you have to do for that? You would have to go and open up an exchange in your preference. If you live in the United States, for instance, talk to Jason Cox. He's going to guide you through one of the best exchanges on the planet that not everybody can take advantage of, and that's Robinhood. Robinhood is what, Jason? Low fees. Exactly. Now, they haven't reduced any SHIB with those fees, but they own a massive number of SHIB, which means to you and everybody else, they have enough liquidity in there to pay you out. Make sense? So if SHIB would go to, let's say 3 zeros or 2 zeros, 4 5, and you were get hundreds of thousands of dollars, they could pay you out because they own an enormous amount of SHIB. Carlos! Massive love. Shout out to Carlos. Hola. Excellent. And of course, massive love show to Jason Cox. Massive love show to Noah Wisely. Wisley. Not Wisely. Wisley. Okay. Massive love show to you guys. So, yeah, we're talking about scenarios, the different scenarios. The first one is the kicker because it's adoption. So, world-class adoption, meaning that companies and organizations start buying SHIB. And what do they start doing with it? They start reducing the circulating supply of it? No, they start buying it. It's important for everybody to understand that you'd have to start buying SHIB. Right? So, the first thing you'd see is somebody taking initiative and buying a massive amount of SHIB. Now they can do it in increments of $5,000 or $6,000, or $10,000 or $20,000. They'd have no problem with that. Like 1 week they buy it, if they want to buy it on a Sunday, because Sunday is what day? Sundays always sell off Sunday in cryptocurrency. For some reason or another, there's more like 90%, 92, 93% chance of cryptocurrency selling off on a Sunday. It's just the way it is. So if you load up on Saturday, you don't want to load up on Saturday. You want to load up on Thursday, sell it on Saturday night or early in the morning. If you're in Singapore, you'll probably want to unload first thing at night, like before going to bed on a Saturday. Because Sunday, it's absolutely, it only goes down by about 5 or 6% roughly, but it's still 5 or 6% constantly reducing, right? So you lose that value. During the week, though, we can go up 30, 40%. In SHIB, we can go up, can skyrocket tomorrow. We are expecting a pop anytime between. We have burned 694 billion SHIB that hasn't been implemented into the price. So we're waiting for that to unfold. Now, we don't know when that's going to be. We don't know who's going to say it. I've been saying it, but I've been trying to get just the people involved in it. I know that for a fact no one watches X anymore because I've been posting on there forever. And the most I've ever seen, unless I become monetized or put myself and spend the money, only time I'll ever see any kind of relationship between what's going on is if I start paying somebody, an influencer or somebody, to get the message out there. The SHIB community won't push it out there for some reason or another. They don't push it out there, which is baffling to me. So that's scenario one, the adoption, and the exchanges and the cryptocurrencies haven't followed suit with it yet. And SHIB's been around for 4.5 years, almost 5 years now. SHIB's been around for. And we talked about the mistakes of the past, of people, of organizations, of exchanges not benefiting entirely from the reduction of SHIB circulating supply. Because it just makes sense. If you took into consideration how much money that you used to reduce SHIB circulating supply and then look at what they got back out of it, you would see that there's a huge gap in profits that were made. 72 million SHIB were 72 million percent broke records, worldwide records across the globe, right? That was what we talked about 2 days ago and yesterday, and we'll bring that up tonight. 72 million percent increase in SHIB price action. That also led to Ethereum making $40 billion. And if they took just a 5% or 10% stake of their profit and reduced SHIB circulating supply with it, and that's tax deductible because that's what they made. So they take 10% of that, they would have got that all back. And then they would have another 50 to 60 billion dollars in return on top of that. But they'd have to wait 3 to 4 months before it came to fruition, because people don't understand reducing supply actually adds more value. We talked about that before. So here you have the value, or here you have the price, and here's your value. What's wrong with this picture? Right? We talked about this before too. Here's your price, and here's your value. All the companies you've ever dealt with in the past before, it's usually this way. Here's your value and the price. Okay, every time we reduce circulating supply, we are adding value to the entire SHIB network. And unfortunately, we aren't able to start the raffle. If we were able to start the raffle, that would mean what? It would mean that we would get there quicker. It doesn't, it's inevitable either way you look at it. Companies are going to adopt it because everybody wants to make money. And don't tell me that companies don't like making money, because they sure crap like hate losing it. Like nobody wants to claim bankruptcy. No one wants to go into that direction, right? So SHIB is a way to get out of it, but you got to do a little bit to get out of it. You have to have money or liquid to buy it, and then come up with a plan to reduce it. Now, they won't use their amount of SHIB to reduce it. They're going to use yours to reduce it. So when you buy and sell on their exchange, fees, the fees that you pay are going to be used to reduce the circulating supply. The more people coming in, the more they buy SHIB, and then they use a percentage of that to reduce SHIB circulating supply. Of course, they're not going to take it all and burn it. No. They only take a small percentage of it to burn it. So if they took in, let's say, 100, and they only used 5%, well, it's only 5 SHIBs off of that 100 on that transaction. So if it's $100, $5 goes towards the reduction of SHIB circulating supply. Now you multiply that by roughly 800, right? 800 million or 40 million or 50 million, depending on how much volume you have on your thing. But everybody's going to do the exact same thing. They're all going to say, what? We're going to start reducing SHIB circulating supply. Because why? It's in their best interest? Absolutely. Because they want to build that volume. Okay? And then they're going to give you the wallet address that they're using to reduce the SHIB circulating supply, so it increases that. And for those exchanges that have gone under, there's 3 of them that have gone under, 3 exchanges that have gone under. None of them did this. Wonder why. Right? None of them did this. In fact, none of them that are around today have done it. So I'm waiting for that to unfold. So you're going to see that happen. But before you see it happen, you're going to see what? Massive buy-ins. Like beyond the norms. Okay? So 1 or 2 trillion? Yes. But not all at once. It's going to be gradual. So that's what you're looking for. Those are the things you're looking for. So the burns is one thing. The amount that's going in, and then you're watching for the amount that's leaving the exchanges. Okay? The reason why they leave the exchanges, it's hard to follow the money once they leave that exchange. And they go into a trust wallet or cold storage, or they stake it. But if they stake it, it shows up on the staking. Unless they start staking their own. And Ethereum can do that because Ethereum was founded on a SHIB. So SHIB was founded from Ethereum. So they can stake it because they know what's at risk. If they do that, then they get back all the SHIB that they've lost, because everybody's going to start piling in, and then they can do with a DeFi, go with the DeFi wallet, and then start staking their SHIB. Now, they're going to have to do better than 5% because that's what SHIB.io gives them, is that 5% rollback currently. But they're not good for it, apparently, because when I go on my exchange and I want to stake SHIB, it tells me they don't recommend it. You can do it, but they don't recommend it. In fact, I tried a few times and they don't recommend it. SNS. How can you contact me? Okay, so You notice above it says, what does it say? It says, oh, hold on to your white socks. Primary. Influencers, the SHIB 50/50 raffle revolution. Okay, where everyone's a winner. So how do you contact me? There's two ways to do it. You can go on shibburn50.50@gmail.com. I'm also on the website right now. We're transferring everything over. So if you got a pen and pencil, it's SHIB5050raffle.com. And Forest Green. Hallelujah. Right. Forest Green, massive love show to you. Massive love show to SNS. Yes, SNS. Not SNL. SNS. Enigma. Don't you mean bulls? Enigma? Enigma bull. Bull. Bulls. Start the bull run now, right? Start the cycle. Tweeting friends. Forest Green. Massive love show to you. Thanks for sharing. SNS, thanks for sharing. God bless you all. Charles Arthur, massive love shout out to you. Excellent. Thank you so much for reaching out. And if anyone knows any lawyers out there, okay, I've gone through a few of them already, but everybody drops me like faster than hot potato. Any reason why? As soon as I tell them to go check out the website, I don't ever hear from them again. Every single raffle in the world deals in their fiat currency. So they hold that regulations over each of their country, state, and province on everything, because that's their fiat currency. You can't just go in and start your own fiat currency and start asking for raffles. Why? Well, no, I'm just letting you know about that the rules and regulations for SHIB are different because it's not tangible, and it's not a tangible asset. It doesn't have any it's not legal tender, guys. Okay? Period. So the first thing you do when you go to a raffle or go into their website or go into their specifications, the first thing it asks you is how much money are you going to deal with in their fiat currency. So the first thing you sit there and say is, it's not in your fiat currency. It's zero. Same as in Canada, same as in the United States, it's zero. So when you ask when they ask you what's the range of your 50/50 raffle, it's always zero because it's not in fiat currency. It's in SHIB. So all the transactions, when you purchase a ticket, it's in SHIB. When you get money awarded to you, it's in SHIB. When the burns go through, it's in SHIB. That means that it is a loss, right? When it goes to the reduction wallets or burn wallets or incinerator or eliminated or dead end wallets, whatever you want to call it, it's gone forever. The black hole, the abyss, oblivion, because that's where it's gone. You can use that as a write-off because you took part in that. Even though it's a small part, you still took part in the reduction of SHIB circulating supply. And what does the circulating supply mean to us? It means money back to the public. Money back in your pocket. Because you're holding it, the raffle accentuates that. Because everybody wins. Nobody loses in the SHIB 50/50 raffle. Not a single soul loses. Everybody wins. So the winner wins, or winners, because we only pay out, maximum all of us pay out in the raffle is 1 million pounds worth of SHIB, which works out to, at this level, 90 billion SHIB. Hallelujah. There you go. Hallelujah. That's right. So all of it goes back into the community. Every single cent goes back into the community, right? We take a little portion, but majority of it goes right back into the community. And we only take SHIB. We only get paid in SHIB. Oh, you rest easy with that one. And we only take less than 5% for administration cost to keep the raffle going. We do hold back on every million. On 4.1 million, we hold back 100,000 SHIB. 100? No, is that right? No, that's not right. It's $100,000, 100,000 pounds. We every million. So when we pay out the max, we hold back on the burn to keep the raffle going. Andrew, massive love shout to Andrew. Yeah, so that's what the raffle's all about. Okay, we talked about the scenarios. We can talk about more scenarios. And for those that don't know, you can go on SHIB5050raffle.com. All of our information is there. Prince is my trustee. Of course, you have to have a trustee when you have a raffle because you have to verify everything. And then, of course, I have Jason Cox, who I'd probably hire to do data entry to verify the accounts and the wallet addresses that are going to get sent the money. Okay, once we send the money, when we send the money, we get a pending notice depending on how much it is. If it's only 461 million, works out to 5,000 pounds worth of SHIB. That SHIB is sent to your wallet. Okay, then it'll say pending, and then it'll say confirmed, because it's not that much money, right? It's not that much SHIB. It doesn't hold much value, so that person will get it pretty much instantly within minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. So, yeah. So that's how that works out for everybody. I don't know if everybody's interested in that or not. Okay. Okay, scenario number 2. Tell the people it's extremely affordable. Right, so SHIB is extremely affordable. And, of course, I want to make sure that everybody understands this. Do not put any more than a raffle ticket's worth into SHIB. So if you buy your raffle tickets every week, or if you don't buy raffle tickets, might not be your thing. But if you want to start investing and you only have a little bit of money or a small amount of money, SHIB gives you that ability because it's so cheap right now. It is inevitable that it's going to explode, but we don't know when. We have no idea when it's going to explode. So you want to load up. Some is better than none. That's how I look at it. And for $15 USDT, buys you 1 million SHIB. Or 14, what's the price right now? Oh, yeah. 14,176. So for $14.25 buys you 1 million SHIB right now. So that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. For $14.25 buys you 1 million SHIB. And that's what we recommend. And depending on how many times you buy a lottery ticket. Once a month. $14 once a month. What does that work out to a week? $5 a week? No, less than that, right? So you're $3.50. Put that away every week or every 2 weeks, right? So it's $7.50 or $7.12. The next one is $7.13 for your $14.25 if the price stays low enough. And it has for the last little while. It hasn't really broke out, so you're good to go. Now you might have to spend more. You might have to do less. It depends. And if you do it every week, you're not going to miss it because it's a raffle ticket's worth of money. It's not the end of the world if it goes to zero, which it will never do. And the reason why you know that is because why? It's highly undervalued. For one. The other one is it's constantly reducing its circulating supply. If it's constantly reducing its circulating supply, it's only got one way to go. And it hasn't taken off. So a lot of people don't know about it. Thank God they don't. Even the influencers don't talk the way I talk about it. I don't get into Bollinger Bands. I don't get into different aspects of SHIB. I don't get into the ROI because I think it's kind of nonsense. You're looking at the graph. You're going to be looking for a long time because the amount of SHIB that gets traded back and forth is insane. Like right now, yesterday, I think it was at 28 trillion SHIB being traded back and forth. And if you look at the clock on it, you would see that it changes hands like every second. Literally changes hands every second. So to keep track of it is absolutely ridiculous. And we're completely and utterly undervalued at this level. And how do you know that? Well, we have 694 billion SHIB removed from circulating supply in 3.5 years. And where's the price? I mean, we had 56 billion removed last year. November, in all, right? Took 3 months, 56 billion SHIB removed. And in March of last year, we had a massive run up, 6 to 7 times your money on 56 billion. Now you imagine 694 billion that people did not realize is gone. That's 12 times where it ended up. So that puts you at around 306, roughly around there. 306. We're nowhere near that level. Like nowhere near that. Yeah, it changes fast, right? It's quick. Very quick. And you gotta remember that each of the exchanges are different too. So certain exchanges charge more. So the values are different. So if you go to CoinGecko, if you're on CoinGecko, the spread is higher. So that's how they make their money. So they charge lower fees, but the spread is higher on CoinGecko. So if you go to crypto.com, the spread is smaller, but the fee is higher. Coinbase, same thing. The spread is very small, but they do charge $5 per transaction, which is expensive. From my point of view, that's expensive. Jason will tell you if you're in the US and you want to buy, and if you're in the UK and you want to buy, the best option you have is Robinhood. And they have a big stake in, Robinhood has a big stake in who? Coinbase. Thank you very much. Because Coinbase is worldwide. They offer Northern Africa, Southern Africa, Asia, pretty much all of Asia, Kazakhstan, Israel, Jordan, India, Pakistan, Philippines, Japan, Taiwan, and then lots of the UK. I'm not sure about the Netherlands, but they're pretty much everywhere. I don't know if they're in Australia yet. I know they're trying to get on in Australia. But they're a little expensive. They're very secure, but they're expensive. I can give you the rundown on how many, which exchanges are better than others, according to CoinStats. So you go to coinstats.com or CoinStats app exchanges. And it'll get you, well, no, this is not it. It's coingecko.com for the top exchanges. So Binance, of course, is number one. Binance is expensive. Please keep that in mind. And majority of what Binance does is in Europe and Asia. So please keep that in mind, that they deal with majority of the population of the world is where Binance is focused on. They were in the U.S., but they left the U.S. because U.S. was giving them a hard time. They wanted more money. Bybit is in America. It's in South America and in Canada. OKX, mostly Asia. And OKX owns 10 trillion SHIB. When it was last recorded, now I don't know about now, but when it was last recorded, they had 10 trillion SHIB. Highly recommended. They are one of the most secure for the Asian market. Bybit, American, North America and South America. Pretty much that's where they're fitted at. Coinbase, 10 out of 10. Crypto.com, 10 out of 10. Kraken, 10 out of 10. Kraken, all through Europe and Asia. Qcoin. Qcoin is in Mexico, but Mexico has their own. It's called MEXC for Mexico. And they also are in Spain. They're in France. They're in Germany. They're in a lot of places. Colombia, Brazil, Argentina. And they are, MEXC is a 9 out of 10. Arkham does 7 billion. No, 7 million. Who does billions? Okay, Binance 12 billion. Bybit 3 billion. And this was a couple of days. Just a couple of days ago. Here, let me refresh. Because I'll tell you what it was today. So Binance number one, $12 billion transactions. Bybit 3 billion. OKX 2 billion. BitGet is another one that holds about 2 trillion SHIB. Bybit owns about 3 trillion SHIB. Coinbase, they own hundreds. They have billions, right? I Am Kingdom. Well, SHIB is highly underrated and undervalued. So, like from the price perspective, SHIB should be in the 3s already. So where can it go? It can go straight up to 306. Between the 4s, 304 to 308 range. And that's just because of the burn that no one noticed. And I don't know how long it's going to take before they start noticing. Massive love, shout out to Babe's channel. The future would... Okay, I don't need to... Okay, everybody. We don't need to create anything in SHIB unless we want to start reducing SHIB circulating supply. It would be a fantastic idea. I was thinking about that today, SNS, about creating a exchange, crypto exchange based in SHIB, just SHIB. And then everything we would do, everything that we would come up with, we'd have to get backing for. We would have to have a board of directors. We have to have people on there. And that we all have to agree on it, that we would start reducing SHIB circulating supply. But we would have to buy, probably, we have to invest about $4 or $5 billion to try and acquire that much SHIB, because we want the golden goose. Period. We want it. We want it all. We want 50. If we can't get 50, we'll probably settle for 30%, but we're still looking at spending around $8 billion to acquire it. You have to go all in on SHIB. That's the one trick pony. So the amount of investment that you would need to do that is incredible. And you'd be talking to, because you want to do aftermarket buy-ins. So you want to go to Binance and start buying from them, because they have 9 trillion. Robinhood, 30 to 40 trillion. India still holds 30 trillion. So you'll be talking to India for sure to try and acquire their SHIB away from them. Because you want it all. Basically, you want at least 50 to 60% of the total supply of SHIB. Period. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to be the one that reduces it. Because taking $2 billion off the table, that would mean that you're making $30 to $40 billion in the run, once the run starts. So that's the whole point of it. So everything that you do is based in SHIB, but the whole prospectus is that you would do multiple coins. You would have 3,000 coins, 4,000 coins, 5,000 coins on your platform. And everything that you do, all the transactions that take place, you're reducing SHIB circulating supply with it. And you're not advertising it. You put it on the bottom line in small print, the wallet address that you're using it for the reduction of SHIB circulating supply. But you're not advertising it. And there's a reason for that. Because you're trying to acquire even more SHIB at the same time. Does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody know why you want to do that? Because if you're burning $4 billion worth and you're getting back 20 billion, you're still making 5 times. Every time you do it, you're making 5 times your money at the minimum. When Vladimir Buterin did it, he made 100 times his money. 100, and it wasn't even his money. It was given to him. He made 100 times, and he didn't take advantage of it at all. And they owned 90% of the SHIB supply. That's the whole point of it. That's why SHIB is so powerful. Yes, I know. That's right. Go all in. Well, no, you don't go all in because you don't know if tomorrow bad news comes out and all the crypto. Remember, we're following suit with all the cryptocurrencies, and somebody is manipulating SHIB to keep it where it is. It's the only reason why SHIB hasn't moved upward. So, do you go all in on something? No, you always can buy it lower, but you don't. No one has an idea of when it's going to explode. Nobody. And you want to be in there when it does. So that's why we say only invest a lottery ticket's worth. And every exchange should be buying SHIB? Absolutely. They should all be fighting for it right now. They aren't. All the cryptocurrencies, exact same thing. They should be fighting for it. All the cryptocurrencies are the dominoes, and all the exchanges are the snowballs, the big balls, right? So you want that snowball effect to start rolling through. They need to start doing their part because they can buy a lot more than the cryptocurrencies can. Does that make sense? So the amount of that the cryptocurrencies can take in is billions, not trillions, billions, because they don't have that kind of money. So I hope that clarifies a few things. Yeah, don't forget to drop in your links if you have the chance, and don't forget to hit the like button. Hold on. I am Kingdom. Okay, I am Kingdom. What does SHIB do exactly? Again, so SHIB is a currency. A lot of people are going to tell you it's a meme coin. Well, it lost its meme coin status when, guys? When did SHIB lose its meme coin status? Does anyone know? 2021, May 12th. Vladimir Buterin builds 3 dead-end wallets. Well, he didn't build them all at once. He only built one. And then he reduced 410 trillion SHIB. When he did that, something happened miraculously. A bloody miracle happened. SHIB went from nothing, a meme coin, to a currency. Just like that. Massive utility. 410 trillion SHIB sent to the dead-end wallets that he created. 410 trillion. 41% of the total supply of SHIB dropped. 50 trillion SHIB sent to India for the COVID relief fund for the second round of COVID that killed a lot of people in India. They took that money and started selling it immediately. What happened to SHIB's price? 30% drop. 41% of the supply is gone. These guys started selling their SHIB. I think they sold 5. I'm not sure if they sold 5 or not, but there's wallet holders that hold 5 trillion, and there's 6 of them. That's 30 trillion SHIB divided by 5 different wallets. Now I'm thinking it's the exact same, probably India. So they took 10 trillion SHIB off the table, sold it, and then try and buy it back. I don't know what they did. Shortly after that, which I don't understand to this day, they banned cryptocurrency in India. I'm like, what? What? I think it's because SHIB went from 9 zeros all the way up to 4 zeros, 8,889. 72 million% increase. Broke world records all over. And not one cryptocurrencies repeated it. And SHIB can do it again. But it needs everybody to what? It needs all the exchanges to start fighting with each other on who's going to get dominance. For us to start our own exchange, to do just that, would take enormous amount of effort, and we would need a lot of backing from a lot of millionaires. Because what we tell them is, listen, we're going to make you the minimum is 5 times your money. Bare minimum. On the upper scale, looking at 20 times. But we can't say 20 times because even though previous experiences would tell us that it's going to be 20 times, we can't give you that concept, right? Because you're going to make it back on what? The volume, sheer volume on the transactions. Because it's going to jump between 7 to 10 billion transactions every single day. That also means you need a massive amount of servers to keep up with that demand. A lot of servers, because it's, you see it's right now, every second you would have 1,000 transactions. And if it's all on your exchange, it's going to shut it down, just like it's done with every other exchange out there. Even Ethereum was charging $260 at the end of it because it was too much congestion on their blockchain. So in order to stop the people from buying on their blockchain, they had to increase the price because it was just too busy. They couldn't keep up. The transactions weren't going through fast enough, and they just kept going and going and going and going and going. So they just said, you know what, this is getting ridiculous, it's getting out of hand. We can't do this anymore. We have to increase the amount because now we got to hire people to start doing what the brokers do on the stock exchange. Start taking notes and writing down how much is in what and what's going where, because the computers can't keep up with it. So just so that you know, Shibarium did theirs in 2023, 2024. 2 months later, a month later, month and a half later, March 3rd hit, and we have a skyrocketing SHIB takes off from 508283 all the way up to 40455, right in that range. 6 to 7 times your money, depending on when you got in. 6 to 7 times your money. Now you're talking 694 billion SHIB unaccounted for, that no one else apparently got the memo on, because we've done it over 3.5 years. It doesn't matter when you do it, it's still a massive amount of SHIB that's been reduced, sent to the dead end wallets. And no one knows, and that would be 12 times what Shibarium did. Just saying. So if it's 12 times, that puts you in that 306 range, 62, 63, around there. Yeah, so where can you expect SHIB to go? Somewhere around there. Now, will it stay there? It depends on if they take advantage of it, right? Which exchange owns more? Will it start a bidding war? Will they finally get caught on to what's going on with SHIB? Well, it happened before, and no one took advantage of it. I mean, if Vlad Buterin were to talk to his members and say, listen, we made $40 billion in 10 months. Okay, guys, let's put some money back in and burn some more, see what happens. None of them did it. They could have been $5 billion. Imagine if they did $5 billion sent to the reduction wallets. Okay, you're talking about a third of the supply gone. A third, 30%, 33% gone from circulating supply. Another 33%. So that means that there would be what? 40%. Now it's at 70% of SHIB's gone into the abyss. 70% of all SHIB's gone into the abyss. Actually, it's around 73% gone into the abyss. You know what that would do for the SHIB price? Another massive skyrocket, probably around the same amount, 72 million%. Only because, and it would come down just as quick, right? It would go up, level off in about 4 or 5 months after, because it didn't happen right away. It takes about 4 or 5 months for people to clue in to what's going on. I don't know why, reducing circulating supply drives up the value on everything, right? You have less land available for people. What happens? Drives up the price. Exactly. So it's this exact same principle. You have less of something that everybody wants. Everybody wants money. Okay. So it should drive up the price. Exactly. Not in SHIB's case. We reduce the circulating supply. People sell off. So you're getting more and you're selling it for less. So why would you do that? If you know you're gaining in value, unless you need that pawn store right next to you so that you can get half your money back. It makes no sense. That's the whole truth of it, right? And SHIB's backwards. Everything's backwards in SHIB. The value is at the low end, value is here, price is down here. It's supposed to be the other way around. Value is here, price is here, right? It's like that with every stock. It's like that with everything in every organization on the planet. You have your value and then you have your price, right? But not in SHIB's case. You have your value and then you have your price, way down at the bottom. So how far can SHIB go? It's already undervalued. People are willing to sell more for less. Is basically how I look at it. I don't know why. You tell me. I don't know why either. It just baffles me that people are willing to take, oh, it's not moving. I think it's like the devil playing with you, right? Saying, not today. Maybe tomorrow. And then when you see a pop, everybody does the exact same thing. Oh, it popped above where I bought it. I'm going to get out. Might not be a good idea. Why? Because you won't be able to get back in. Like a lot of people say, you're going to be able to get back in. SHIB goes up and down like markets. But SHIB is constantly adding value. So at any moment, it could take off. And then when it takes off, it comes back down. Almost to where it was before. And then it takes off again. Then it comes back down, but it doesn't come anywhere near that range anymore. It takes off. Only when we don't have we don't get that regular burn, that's when SHIB stops and starts to decline. And it and it drops really fast. Because if it doesn't get that burn, doesn't get that sensation, people get scared. When people get scared, they sell. That's the truth of it. And when you're talking about a bidding war, all the exchanges are going to know all the routines from every single person out there. Trust me, and they're going to take advantage of it. And they're going to drive it down on purpose so that you bail. And then they're going to reverse it. But only if they have control. If they don't have control, and someone who's smarter than they are starts to reduce SHIB circulating supply constantly, then you're going to have issues where you're not going to be able to get back in. You sell it, you're gone. Sorry. I hope you made your money. And you're gonna be spending a lot more money trying to get back in. Remember, you're competing with exchanges, you're competing with cryptocurrencies. Now you're competing with companies that don't want to lose money. They're done losing money. And how many companies are like that around the world? Done losing money. They hate losing money. How many? There's hundreds of thousands of them that don't like losing money. SHIB gives them an out of stop losing money because of the reductions and because of the drive. When they reduce, what happens is more people want to make money, so they're afraid of not getting in and making money because they all want to make money. Everybody in the world wants to make money. So do you want to get in now or do you want to get in when it's more expensive? And then are you going to be asking yourself, it'll probably go back down, right? Well, there's 3 things to watch for. We talk about them all the time. SHIB burns. So SHIBburn.com. Go to SHIBburn.com. This tells you the utility. This gives SHIB the utility that everybody should be aware of. Or is it? Okay, so now I got to go look it up. It should be on my list. SHIBburn.com. So this is your first line of defense. This is your utility. So the last 3 hours, they burned 694,000. 4 hours ago, 22. Get a load of this. 2,222,222. Woo! 2222222. So someone likes Jacob Tutu. 8 hours ago, 23 million SHIB sent to the dead end wallets. Does that seem like a lot? Well, when you're only buying 1 million for $15, 23 million seems like a lot. Because that 23 million is in the abyss. Gone forever. Never to return. What does that do for everybody? What does that mean for everybody? It means that you're adding value to every single SHIB holder out there. So if you're holding it, you've made that money. Now, are you able to see your return at this level? No. That's the truth of it. So you're selling what was given to you for less money. That's what we're saying to you. We're saying that to every single person on the planet. If you buy it and you sell it for less, it is on you. The SHIB community has nothing to do with it. SHIB has nothing to do with it. It's the community behind it. That's why we tell everybody only invest a lottery ticket's worth, because a lottery ticket's worth means what to you? It's just a lottery ticket. If I didn't make money this week, I'll put more money into it. Who knows? Exactly. Who knows? It goes down. I'm able to buy it again at a lower price. I can DCA in. I only have 1 million. Next week I have 2 million. Next week I have 3 million. Or every 2 weeks I have 1 million. So in a month I have 2 million. You understand what I'm getting at? So it does accumulate over time. If the price remains low, you're good. You're golden. If it goes up, you're still golden. If it doesn't, if it goes up 10 times, 12 times your money, you're probably thinking yourself, oh, it's only $15. 10 times is only $150. Why wouldn't I put a lot more money into it? It's on you. Don't ask us, because we can't tell you what to do with your money. We only make suggestions to you, because SHIB should be getting towards $2-3 if the exchanges start getting behind it. But they're not there yet. They're not getting behind it yet. Eventually they will, but we have no idea when. That could be tomorrow. It could be the week after. It could be a month. It could be 2 months. It's been 4.5 years, and still they don't do it. So it's a miracle they haven't. Thank God, because it gives you the ability to get in at a lottery ticket's worth. Now, 1 million at $1 is $1 million. Now, what are the chances of it getting there? It depends on if there's a war between the exchanges, about war between the cryptocurrencies, a war between the companies, a war between the banks. Everything is dependent upon them competing with each other. Like Fidelity's buying into SHIB, Morgan Stanley's buying into SHIB, but we don't know how much they're buying. If they were smart, they would go all in. And they would open up an exchange immediately and start reducing SHIB circulating supply, and then telling everybody that what they're doing, so that everybody flocks to their exchange. And they would come in there and try and compete with Robinhood, BlackRock, and Binance to solidify themselves as the #1 crypto exchange on the planet. Because if they steal market share away from Binance, Binance is the big top dog out of all of them, been around the longest. But they're not the cheapest. But they are one of the most secure. Right? So you got to keep that into consideration. That's why you pay more, because it's more secure. It's got that security with it. Crypto.com is backed in US dollars. So they're very secure, depending on the US dollar, of course. BitBuy, another great exchange to do business with. They have a lot, because they also own a ton of BTC e-machines, all through the US and Canada, and parts of South America, and in Europe, I believe. In Britain, Spain, and France. I'm not 100% sure on, but I'm pretty sure that's where they're allocated. They have a massive following. They have a massive amount of money behind them, which to this day, I still don't understand why they have not invested as much into SHIB. Right? If you look at them, they only hold about less than 2 trillion SHIB. Less than 2 trillion. You want to be competitive in SHIB, you have to own, and no word of a lie, 30 to 40 trillion SHIB to be competitive. Because BlackRock is right around that range. And Binance is less than 10 trillion. Now they have many wallets on Binance, but I'm thinking those are because of the different countries that they associate with, and they own an enormous amount of SHIB. Yeah, 10 trillion above books, above what's being traded on their exchange between people is what they hold. So that tells you how much they have, around 100 trillion. Robinhood, BlackRock, they're both the same thing. They have approximately 120 to 130 trillion SHIB. So to get that market share away from them, going to be difficult. But Ethereum at one time had it all. They had the golden goose, but they didn't lay any golden eggs because they refused to burn it, which is I'm sure they're looking it over now because they've stopped. If you go on the top 100 wall holders, you can't find them. So I'm pretty sure that they're buying as much SHIB as they can get their hands on, knowing that they made a mistake. And it was a massive mistake. And I'm pretty sure once they get their hands on enough of it, they're going to start taking market share away from everyone else and start massively reducing SHIB circling supply, just to solidify their position and gain more market share, because everybody's going to go to Ethereum, and Ethereum would have been trading around $99,000 per ETH if they were to keep the burns going, because they would have increased their value at the same time they're increasing SHIB's value. And then it would just drive. And we would be under, pretty much we'd be sitting at 200 million SHIB left in circulation. You can just fathom the price. Because 3.5 years, I guarantee it, would have been 4 billion, 8 billion, 10 billion, 12 billion, 50 billion being reduced in SHIB circulating supply, because it's a guarantee that they're going to make 10, 20, 30 times their money on it. So each time it's like, it's only going to cost me 10%. Each time they do it, they don't care. At that point, they don't care. I'm making 20x my money. It's coming back to me 20 times over. And I'm going to be burning it every 3 months just to keep ahead of the curve, because it takes 4 months for people to realize there's less supply in the world. And then eventually everybody knows about it. And then everybody's trying to buy in. And of course, you're buying it at 20, 30, 40, 50 cents. And then waiting for the next burn to come out. Are you kidding me? Everybody's knowing that it's coming. So everybody's doing what? Buying as much as they can get their hands on. And are they going to trade it? No. Once it gets over $1, what's going to happen with SHIB? A banking system is going to be implied. So you're going to be able to use your SHIB to buy goods and services all across the world. You're even going to be able to leverage your SHIB for mortgages, company lending. So you become a bank yourself if you have enough of it, if you've doubled down. So you wouldn't have to ever sell your SHIB. You just use it to leverage other fiat currencies. And then you take in and borrow against it. So you don't use SHIB. And then, in fact, what you do is you buy more SHIB with that. And when you get big enough, then you start reducing SHIB circulating supply with your money. No, with the money you're lending out. And every single company and every single organization is going to do the exact same thing, because it's going to give you what? More return on your money. And nothing in this world will give you 2 times every year your money's worth. You're guaranteed 2 times your money, 3 times, 4 times your money, but you're guaranteed 2 times your money every single year. Most people want 20%, 30% on the return on their money. SHIB gives everybody that ability to make that kind of money every single year. Now, isn't that that's like, it's amazing in its own right. And when would that happen? When everybody fights for it. Unfortunately, right now, we have people willing to take losses, massive losses. So as long as they're willing to take massive losses, there's nothing we can do. The price isn't going anywhere, and people are happy to sell it for a loss. They don't own what they own. Because if they did, like Jesus says to us, what does Jesus say to us? What he said to the rabbis that came up on the mount: forgive them, for they know not what they do. Because they have no idea what they're doing. They're selling something of value, taking a loss when it has value. It's like I was talking to everybody about the quarter. There's a 25-cent piece worth $250,000, but if you don't do any research on it, you'll never find out. You'll trade it at face value. Well, that's what these people are doing. They're trading it at 25 cents or taking less than 25 cents for it. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Not a thing. You can talk to your blue in the face. They still believe it's worth 25 cents. They're willing to sell it for less because I need the money now. It's worth 250,000. Yeah, but I didn't do the research on it. I sold it for 25 cents. And then someone does the research on it and says, hey, that's worth 250,000. Even if I took it to a pawn store and they looked it up and told me it's worth 250,000, and they told me that I'm only going to get 125,000 for it, I'll take the 125,000 because it's half. They're going to make what? 90% of that. And they don't care if they make, if they make $75,000 over and above that, because they already made their money. So they're selling it at a discount. And then a broker will sit on it for maybe 6 months, and he's going to get 95 to 105% of that value of the token, because the waiting period, there's actually interest now on that. So you make even more money. So if you don't mind sitting on it, you won't mind making the money on it. That's the whole bottom line to it. But if you're willing to sell it right now, less than face value, knock yourselves out. This is Will, your host of the SHIB Worldwide 50/50 Raffle. Thank you. Don't forget to support the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, and comment. On the channel, I'll be on this just for a few minutes while I set up the whole process. But it's good night. God bless each and every one of you. Jesus loves you. We always remind everybody of John 3:16. God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son to be the Lamb of God, a sacrifice for every single soul on the planet. He didn't even know you. It was 2,000 years ago. And he gave his life for yours. That's why he's called the King. That's why he's Jesus Christ, our Savior, our Messiah, Lord. And he's 3 in 1. God, Father, and Holy Spirit. And no one goes to heaven except through Jesus Christ. Thanks be to Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you all. Have a great and wonderful night. God bless each and every one of you. Jesus loves each and every one of you the same. That's why our message is for the entire world, so that they can live long and prosper. Nenu, nenu. All right. Cheers, everyone. Goodbye for now. Good night. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in.